Hello, hello, hello. It is Leanne again, and I am here to talk to you about what's going on in the world. Oh my goodness. Never in my almost 6 decades of life have I ever experienced anything like this in this world. I've never seen anything like this before. It's madness. It's insanity. It's nuts so what is going on around the world. So, how do we combat this? And I know I've got this glare in my eye. It's the circle light, which I'm trying to get close enough so that it's not there, but I'm not sure that it's going to help. But anyway, what I'm here to talk to you about is how do we deal with all of this fear that is pervasive. It's like a living entity, a blob that just kind of swirls all around us and, just kind of like tentacles inside our brain. So, how do we deal with this? I want to read something to you from the Dhammapada, if I can find the page. Our life is shaped by our mind. We become what we think. So, suffering follows an evil thought as the wheels of a cart follow the oxen that draw it. Our life is shaped by our mind. We become what we think. What have your thoughts been lately? I know my thoughts have been swirling and circling round and round about, if I get a little tickle in my throat, what does that mean? Have I come in contact with somebody that's from China? What if I have it and then I give it to my family? What if I run out of toilet paper? All of these things, they're like arrows that pew, 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 pew. And another verse from the Dhammapada says, as an archer aims his arrow, the wise aim their restless thoughts. Hard to aim, hard to restrain. As a fish hooked and left on the sand thrashes about in agony, the mind, being trained in meditation or stillness, trembles all over, desperate to escape the hands of self-discipline. So, how do we train our minds, our thoughts? How do we do this? Well, one of the things that is suggested in this is meditation or stillness. Just getting quiet, being still, and take a note. Just think. Watch all the thoughts that go flying through your head like Concorde jets. And they fly through our heads like that. They're flying through our head. But every once in a while, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 arrows get stuck. And the thoughts that are on those arrows just go spinning round and around and around and around and get deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into our heads. Okay, how do we deal with that? Okay, well, my suggestion is you pull that arrow out, break it in half, and then change it, that thought, with a new thought. Let it be a positive thought, not a negative thought. Do not let the negative thoughts take root into your head like tentacles. Okay, you change the thoughts. You have to be purposeful, intentional, and you have to be consistent with it. Okay, our brains are like neural highways. Okay, and if we follow the same thought over and over and over again, it may have started out like as a little alley or a backcountry road, but before long it becomes an 8-lane highway. Okay. And that's what happens with the neural network in our brain. We if we keep feeding the negative thoughts, the thoughts become bigger and bigger and they take up more space inside our brain. So we have to stop that. And the way we do that is by changing our thoughts. Okay. We take aim with our own arrows, and it's hard. It's hard because it takes self-discipline, but you have to do it if you don't want to succumb to the fear that's around you in this world. And, I'm not delegitimizing the fear, what's going on in this world. Okay. We know it's a serious illness, but You got to remember, most people are doing what they need to do. They're washing their hands. They're staying home if they're sick. They're not being around older people or immunocompromised people. Most people are doing what they need to do. So if fear is that you're going to catch it or that you might give it to somebody else, remind yourself, change that thought to, I am doing everything that I need to do to protect myself, my family, and the people around me. Now, in saying all this, how many of us have been to the store recently? Okay. I know I was there this morning, and it's kind of hectic. I've talked to some of the store employees, and it's insane. But I was joking and I said, most people are not really here to buy what they need, although they're buying. They're here because they're tired of being isolated, with that social distancing. They want to get out and be around people. And I understand that. I really do understand that. We need each other, but one thing that we did when I was talking to my friend there, is that when we were getting ready to go to our separate ways. We did an air hug and an air kiss, and that was fine. I understood her care and concern for me, and I have that same care and concern for her. We're doing what we need to do to practice good hygienic things, and because of that, when those fears that, of catching something, we need to remind ourselves that we're doing everything we need to do to protect ourselves. Okay. And on that same regard, the Dhammapada also says, be vigilant, guard your mind against negative thoughts. Okay. Pull yourself out of bad ways as an elephant raises itself out of the mud. And it's going to feel like this, okay? The fears, the fearful thoughts, the panic, the paranoia, the hysteria, the travel bans, it's scary, and I'm not, saying it's not scary, but to retrain your mind to think positive thoughts, to change the negatives to actual positives. And sometimes that means going the opposite of what the negative thought says. Okay. And another thing I want to encourage you with is when those negative thoughts come, don't speak them out. Okay. In Proverbs, it says that the power of life and death is in our tongue. Okay. And James says that our tongue is like a little fire set on hell. So anytime we speak out some negative thing, some fear, it becomes bigger. And it becomes harder to uproot from our mind. It's like dragging an elephant out of mud. Okay, so if a negative thought goes in there, number one, don't speak it. Number two, pull those arrows out, snap them into, and change your thought to something, or thoughts into something positive. This you have to do. If we want to create an entity of goodness and peace and happiness and healing throughout the world, our thoughts are full of energy. What we speak is full of energy. Let's give life to positivity and happiness. Let's pour life into the world. Let's pour happiness. Let's pour joy. And that means retraining your brain, self-disciplining your thoughts, your thought processes. And I'm not going to say it's easy, because boy, howdy, I know it's not. The Dhammapada says to cross the river bravely, conquer all your passions, your thoughts, your fears, go beyond the world of fragments and know the deathless ground of life. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. Life is in the power of the tongue. Okay? Your words are spirit and life, and the scripture teaches that. So make sure that what's coming out of your mouth is spirit and life. And on that regard, I want to read to you Psalm 91, which is something that I read quite frequently. And I think it's good. A lot of Christian people are running to Psalm 91 now. And I think it's very important. That's one of the ways that we can change our thoughts. We can go to our scripture verses, whether you do the Upanishads, the Vedas, the Dhammapada, the Quran, the Bible, any verse in there, any sutra or surya, whatever is in there that is encouraging you to be positive, to stay happy, to stay focused on God, then read it out loud, okay? Remember, pour life into the world. Your words are spirit and life into this world. And instead of pouring fear and hysteria and cynicism and because I know some people think, well, this is all engineered, and it might be. Maybe it is. I don't know. But whether it is or it isn't, make sure you're responsible for what you're pouring into the world. And that is life. It's happiness, joy, peace, instead of fear and paranoia. Don't give in to it. Don't think about it. Don't speak about it. Break those arrows. So in that regard, I want to read Psalm 91 to you. And this is something that I pray. I read this from a very personal perspective because my family is scattered throughout the world, literally. And it includes my kids, their spouses, my grandchild, my parents, my aunts and uncles, cousins, whatever. It includes all of them. And I mean that when I speak it, when I pray it out loud, when I remind myself of the truth. I know that was kind of weird, but whoa, did you see that? Ooh. Sorry, I'm going to read it now. Got distracted there by the light. We, my family and I, who sit down in the shelter of the Most High, we abide in the shadow of the Almighty. We say to the Lord, you are our refuge and our fortress. You are our God in whom we trust. For it is you who delivers us from the snare of the trapper and from the deadly pestilence. You cover us with your pinions or your feathers, and under your wings we seek refuge. Your faithfulness is a shield and bulwark. In other words, his faithfulness is our armor. We are not afraid of the terror by night or of the arrow that flies by day, or of the pestilence that stalks in darkness, or of the destruction that lays waste at noon. 1,000 may fall at our side, and 10,000 at our right hand, but it does not approach us. Do you see the determination in that? It does not approach us. Okay? That's what I'm holding on to, folks. We will only look on with our eyes and see the recompense of the wicked. If we have made the Lord our refuge, even the Most High our dwelling place, no evil befalls us, nor does any plague come near our tent. For he gives his angels charge concerning us, to guard us in all our ways. They bear us up in their hands, lest we strike our foot against a stone. We tread upon the lion and the cobra, the young lion and the dragon we trample down. Because we have loved God, therefore he delivers us. He sets us securely on high, because we have known his name. We call upon him and he answers us, and he is with us in trouble. So even if we've messed up and we've caught the coronavirus, we can call on him and he will rescue us and he will honor us. And with a long life will he satisfy us and show us his salvation. So I want to leave you with that, and I want to really encourage you to get into those inspirations, those inspiring positive affirmations, confessions, Bible verses, whatever you need to retrain the brain. And take aim with positive arrows and insert those into your brains. Dig them down in there deep. And so they stick. So you can change the neural pathways in your brain to be positive. Because the more we speak life and happiness and peace and joy, the more it's going to take shape around in the world within us and around us. And so be encouraged, people. This will pass. Things like this always do. And what you can do to help around this world is pray for those who are sick. Be kind when you're out in public. Be generous with tips when you go pick up your takeout orders. And be patient. Be patient. And if you're worried about your stocks and bonds, speak to your bank accounts. Okay? Don't fear. It will pass. Stocks and bonds always rise and they always fall. And then they rise again and then they fall. And then they rise again. You know what? Don't worry. Just chill. Everything's going to be okay. You have everything that you need. And most of all, you have the power in your hands to change the way you think, to change the way you speak. So be happy, be at peace, don't tremble, don't be afraid. This will pass. God is still on the throne and he still loves you no matter what. He's there to grab onto, to be rescued by, to be loved by. All right, have a great day. Bye.